If your landscaping website isn't getting calls, it's not because you're a bad landscaper or because marketing doesn't work. It's because your website's probably built like a junk drawer. That's okay, because today I'm going to show you exactly how to build your website so that way Google knows exactly what you're about and it puts you to the very top of the list ahead of your competitors, even if you're not paying $2,000 a month for some crazy search engine optimization agency. I'm going to show you the silo structure that I use to rank businesses in 2 weeks, how to fill the website with actually good sounding AI content so you don't have to write everything, an all-in-one marketing platform so that way you don't have to pay for 7 different types of tools and remember all the different logins, show you how to match it exactly to your Google business profile, and I'm going to build it alongside with you live in this video so that way you can see everything start to finish. My name's Nick, and I have helped landscaping businesses add hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue by some smart automation, some digital marketing, and by using these exact systems and tools that I'm going to show you in today's video. If you would like to see how I've done more of this, you could check out my other videos, but you could see here that I've added $900,000 in estimates to this company right here. This company doubled their Google business profile interactions. This one doubled their calls and their site clicks. And this one went from position 26 to about position 11 in just 2 weeks when I started working with them in September. So the first thing we're going to talk about is your Google business profile. Now, I went ahead and searched landscaping in Montana just for this demonstration. We're going to go ahead and pick on Greenscape Landscaping today. This little pack that you see right here, this is the local pack. These 3 get 60 to 70% of all phone numbers, all inbound customers that search this search term. So it's really important that you make it as high as you can on the site. And this right here is the Google business profile. So that's actually what we're trying to rank here. Another thing that we're ranking is these right here. This is your website, but it's not the same as ranking your Google business profile. The way that we're going to set it up today, we're going to build a website that does both. On the Google business profile, you can usually see, it looks like they don't have anything set up, but there's a tab for services and categories, and that's going to be very important. So let me go ahead and look at this one instead. Maybe they have it set up. Yes, you can see right here where it says products. On your page, there's going to be something called categories and services, and under each category, you can put your services. For instance, this is the category of interior services, and this is the service of interior landscaping holiday decor services. This is a secondary service of landscape services, and then this is the 3 services that fall into the secondary category. And that's important because we need to build our website in a way that perfectly matches Google so that way it knows exactly what we're about. So on your Google business profile, this is what it should look like. You have your primary category and you have a big list of services underneath it. Right here, again, you have your secondary category or your additional category, and you have a big list of services underneath that. If you're not sure what services to use, you can download a free extension called GMB Everywhere, and you can click this button called Category Finder. It will load up a website. Let me sign in real quick. So as you can see, I clicked this button right here, Category Finder. It prompted me to sign up. This is free. You have a certain amount of uses every single day for free, and you can see that this primary category was landscape designer. So let's say that mine is going to be landscaper. I'll search that, and you can see that this is my primary category. It gives me a list of related categories. Now, contrary to most search engine optimization advice out there, you don't want to just spam everything. So you want like 2 or 3 categories, and then you want your services to do the talking. And even if you serve some sort of service that's not exactly defined by Google, you still want to keep as close to their recommendations as possible because these are pre-programmed. It tells the Google robots exactly what you do. So in this case, let's say that we are a landscaper. We also do lawn care services, and we do some concrete contracting for patios and stuff like that. Now we can come over here to the related services, and it gives you a list of things that you could choose. So we have landscaper, we have lawn care stuff, and then we have concrete contractor. Again, you want to tell Google exactly what it is you do without confusing it. So you could see that right here on landscaper and on lawn care services, we both have lawn mowing. You only want to choose it for one, so we're going to say lawn care service. But what you want to do is you want to choose as many of these. You can make a list right here, or you can go into your business profile, and you want to choose as many of these as you can that fit yours. So let's say lawn mowing, weed control, lawn fertilization, aeration, overseeding, edging and trimming. These are all that fall into here, and that's 5. This one, we might skip lawn mowing. We might say landscape design, garden maintenance, yard cleanup, mulching, hedge trimming, sod installation, all things that don't overlap with this. And then again, for your concrete contractor, you want to do the same exact thing. Once you've chosen your services and your categories specifically, you can do this in a platform. It's called Canva. It's free to use, or you could just really just write this down on pen and paper, but you kind of want to plan out what your site is going to look like. So the way that we're going to do this site is that you have your main homepage, and then underneath your homepage, you have your main category pages. Underneath each of your category pages, you have your services. So as you can see here in this little diagram, this is why we call it our silo structure. If you were to stack these up on top of each other, it kind of looks like a home page. It branches out like this to your category pages, and then each of your category pages has all of the service pages underneath it. And we do that because when the Google robots scroll through and they're searching, when somebody says landscaping near me, they're trying to find the most relevant answer for the customer. So by having your home page and your category pages organized, it helps the Google robots that are crawling hit it, and then they search your site, and then they come back up and they're able to tell the customers exactly what your site is about, and it puts you closer to the top. Now, that might not have been the most technical explanation, but that's basically how it works. So for this site that I'm about to show you, that we're about to build together, we're going to do like this, home, and then we're going to design 3 category pages, and then underneath each category page, we're going to have a handful of service pages. Your home page, you want it to have primary category in city. So let's say I'm in Austin, Texas, and my primary category is landscaper. This would be landscaper in Texas. And then you're going to link out to another page that says landscaper in Texas, concrete contractor in Texas, concrete contractor in Austin, landscaper in Austin, drainage service in Austin. Even if you serve a broader area, you want to keep it to the city that you get most of your customers for, and we can talk about exactly what to do to get those extra towns as well. So this is an example of what it would look like. You would have your main page right here, and then your home page links out to all of these subservices, and then each subservice has its own page. So let's go ahead and start building this site. By the way, we're going to be using a variety of different tools and softwares to build this website. You don't have to use exactly what I'm using. I'm just using the best tools that I know, and I think that they're the best for your money's worth. So those are going to be the ones that I'm recommending. But again, you can use this with whatever website designer you already have. So first, I'm going to come to a website called Namecheap. Let's say that I want ABC Landscaper the Best.com, and I can go ahead and search this and see what we have. abclandscaperthebest.com is available, and it's only $12 for the entire year. So you're going to add this to cart. You have to create an account, and then I'm going to show you what to do with that next. I have this zoomed in all the way, that way we don't show any client information, but basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find your domain that you just purchased. You want to make sure that it's working, and you want to click manage. From there, you can go to advanced DNS, and I will have to blur some of this information. But you will basically see a lot of different type, host, value, and TTL. It looks a little bit complicated, but don't worry, because I'm going to show you exactly what we have to do, and it's really not that bad. So now that we have our domain and we have an idea of what our site is going to look like, we want to go ahead and start building it. Now, the way that we want to build this, at least the way that I'm going to do it in this video, is an all-in-one AI marketing platform called GoHighLevel. If you want 14 days free, you can click the link in my description to check it out. Otherwise, you can do this in any service that you want, any web provider. You can use WordPress, you can use Wix or GoDaddy. But for this video, I'm going to use GoHighLevel because I think it's the best for home service businesses. So once you get into GoHighLevel, what you want to do first is we need to connect the domain that we just purchased to our website. So we're going to come over here to settings, and then we are going to go to domain. And then from here, we can go to purchase domain or connect a domain. So connect a domain is what we want to do. And from here, we want to choose funnel, website, store, blog, webinar. We'll hit connect. We'll put the name of our domain. So let's say, I don't even remember what I typed, but let's say it's abcthebestlandscape.com. Once we hit continue, it's going to bring up this little notification box right here. Because we're using Namecheap, we're going to have to come over here to add record manually. And literally, don't overthink this too much. But exactly what you want to do is you want to make these boxes match these boxes that you see in your domain list under the Advanced DNS tab. So what you're going to do is you're going to create an A record. The host, you're just going to put the @ symbol, and the required value, you're going to copy the exact number that it gives you. You're going to transfer, you're going to leave everything else the same, you're going to leave TTL to automatic, and then you're just going to hit the checkbox. After that, you're going to create a CNAME. This is a subdomain because most of the internet still uses www. That's not necessary for our information. Basically, all you need to know is that you copy paste this exactly into Namecheap, and then you're going to click Verify Records. Once you do that, it will load for about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on your internet, and then it should populate. From there, we're going to click Go Back, and we're going to go to Sites. So for the sake of demonstration, I will create a template website. So I'm going to click New, then I'm going to click From Templates. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and search for landscape. Now that I'm in landscape, I'll go ahead and choose one of these. Let's choose this lawn maintenance. I can preview it. I can look through it and see if it's something that I like. They have some cool animations. They have lots of photos. Not bad. I like the style of it. So I'm going to go ahead and click choose template. All right, so we are in our templated website section. The way that Go High Level works is you have a denoted in green. There is the section. Inside the green, you have a blue, which is your row. And in the row, you have your columns. Inside the columns, you have your elements. Now, that sounds kind of complicated, but basically what you need to know is that you can click these buttons, click these pluses, and you can add various photos, headlines, survey. You can add your own custom code. You can add custom videos or countdown timers. But basically, it's just a way to drag and drop information. So the reason we start with a template is that way we already kind of have a layout of what we want. And from here, we can just duplicate sections. So let's say I wanted more pictures than this. I can come in here and click this purple. I can click the blue, and then I can hit duplicate. And then now I have 2 rows of the same thing. If I were to come in here to the purple and duplicate the purple, I now have twice the amount of photos inside of the blue row. So whatever's contained inside of itself, it will stay kind of at that level, at that within that same space. And then from there, you just hit the various pluses to add the things that you want. Now, with these template sites, they're not structured very well for search engine optimization. So let me go ahead and head back to the whiteboard so I can show you what I mean. Okay, so we're back in our whiteboard, and I want to talk about a few of the basics when you are building your site. Now, in every page of your website, you want to have one H1 tag, and you want to have H2 and paragraph beneath that. If you need to have an H3 tag, you can, as well as an H4, but you want to follow this same structure. So you have your main tag. It should be, if you can, the very first thing on the website page. And then right below that, you might have a secondary tag, and then you might have some paragraph text. I'm going to show you what this means in the editor in just a little bit, but this is important. So later down the page, you might have another H2 and then a paragraph. What you don't want to do is you don't want to have an H3 and then right below the H3 you have an H2. So you want to basically create an outline that the Google robots know how to scour. So the Google robots are going to come in, they're going to see H1, they're going to follow that to the H2, they're going to see the paragraph, then they're going to see the H2, and all of this information is going to be similar. Then they're going to see the next section, and all of this is going to be similar. For instance, we might have landscaper services in Austin, build your dream yard today. This would be our H1 tag. And landscaper is our primary category. Austin is our primary city. We might just have some information. We might name drop a few neighborhoods or some streets and talk about some other landscaping things that we do to have a few keywords in there. And then the next thing, this is our primary category yet again. And then this is going to link out to our landscaper services page. Then we're going to have some information telling the customer. Then we're going to go to our next subcategory, concrete contractor in Austin. This one will also link out to another page. So when you are editing your template, you might see here that this is an H1. That's good. We have landscaping company. We would rewrite this to say landscaping or landscaper services in Austin. And then we could have some sort of widget here that says, over 300 5-star reviews. Just make sure you're telling the truth, state the facts and tell the truth. And we might have some buttons that encourage visitors to check around our site or to reach out to us. Now you can see that this one here, is an H2 tag. So this is okay. And then this one here, we don't see anything, which means that it is a paragraph. You can also come into this right-hand side and you can see that it is an element. The element that it is a paragraph. This one is a subheadline, and then this one is a first headline. Now, if we keep scrolling, we want to check to make sure that everything is in its proper place. So this is H2. This one should be an H3. That's not that bad, but if we would, we should probably change this to H3 for all of these, and we can change the size of the font as we need to. Don't get too caught up on this because Google doesn't really care about the readability of everything. Your customer does, so it's important, but you really want to make sure that those tags are correct. And then here we have an H2, we have another H2, another H2, another H2, another H2, and now we're at the end. Okay, so that's good. Most of these website templates actually have H1s all over the place, and you have to edit all of them. This one's looking pretty good, and then you would just do this for every single page. So let's go ahead and go to services. I'm gonna not save my progress because this is just an example. Our services. So here we want to have our primary category, landscaper services, in Austin. And now that we change that, maybe each of these could be some sort of service that falls under this category, just like when we were over here, these are all services that fall under the category. The reason you want to do that is because it builds a siloed context for Google to search through your site, and I'm going to show you an example of what it looks like when done correctly. So you can see that these other pages that we did, this template only has 5 pages, this one has 12. For our example, we're using one that has 38. So when you do it this way, it does take more work, but it also gets you all the way to the top at Google, so I think it's worth it. So this is the site that I used to get that other landscape company to double their position in only 2 weeks. And you could see that it's really not anything special. We have give us a call here, top and center, so that way the customer knows exactly what to do when they land on your page. We have a simple navigation bar that leads out to our 3 primary and our 1 primary and our 2 secondary categories. From there, we have our H1 tag here, we have our H2, and then we have our paragraph information, and then we are encouraging people to book pretty much at every site. So that goes beyond the scope of this video, but in good website design, pretty much every screen length, you want to have another button for people to click. So this is our 3 categories here, and you can see that we have our primary category first, and we have it in the headline. We have our secondary categories right here, and these are both in the subheads. And then underneath each, we have some text that kind of talks about what we're doing. We name some of our services. We also want to put in some neighborhood or some street names, some local landmarks if we can. For instance, this might say we match sun, shade, and wind for each bed from Main Street to South Street. We offer large services, blah, blah, blah. And then you want this to be a linked text. And you want this to link to mywebsite.com/landscaper-services. So for instance, I don't have a domain hooked up here. What you want to do is actually connect your domain to the one that you bought earlier, and that's literally just a click of the button. But over here, we want to double click this. We want to highlight everything, and we click this link button. So this would be abclandscape.com/landscaper-services. And in your pages below this, as you continue to do it, so right here, this would be concrete contractors. So this is going to link to your primary category, and then once you get to your primary category, you're going to have other services, let's say landscape installation. So anytime you go a layer deeper, just for organization purposes, you can hit a slash, and then you can hit landscape-installation. So that way, if anyone was ever on your website, they see that they are on abclandscape.com/landscaper-services/landscape installation. Now, again, you don't want to do that right here. Right here, you just want to keep it as your primary category. We can go ahead and click save, and then now this is a link that you can click. If I click it, nothing's going to happen because that's not my domain, but that's kind of how we want to organize it. So again, we have our H1, which is our primary category in the city. We have a little bit of content, and then underneath that, we have our main categories. We restate the primary one, and then we link out to each of these pages from the home page. From there, we can offer, maybe link out to a few services, but really you just want to make the focus these 3 pages right here for those Google robots. And then from here, we can just fill the page with more content about you, about your business, about what you've done. Maybe we can mention some landmarks, some local landmarks, so it helps Google place your business. And then you can fill out a frequently asked questions section, and then you can plug in a map and then your service areas, so that way when people scroll all the way down, even though you're saying Austin, Texas, they can see that you also serve the surrounding locations. I know that all of this is a little bit complicated and I'm speaking a little bit long-winded. Feel free to reach out to me. You can click the link below, book a call, we can chat about it. I really just want to help you build your website as good as possible, so I'm trying to be as thorough as I can, which is why I keep showing you the graphs. So again, going back to our little diagram here, we have home, and then we have our 3 main pages that we are linking out to, and then from these pages, we need to link out to the others. So let's take a look at what that looks like. If we go to our landscape services page, on here I'm going to navigate on the left all the way down. I know where this is just because I'm the one who built the website, but basically you would add pages, you can duplicate pages, so that way you kind of have a template to work with and just swap out the pictures. And then from there you want to find the page that makes sense. So this is landscape services. This is going to be our primary category page, and from here we need to link out to all of the different services that we had in our diagram here, the ones that we chose from our Google Business Profile, because the Google Business Profile and the website have to match in order for this strategy to work. So we have landscape installations, and then under that we have find out more about our landscape installations here. So all I'm doing, you could do this a lot more robustly, you can make it a lot more content, you can give a lot more information, but literally all I'm doing is I am generating some content here, and then I'm saying find out more about our blank here. And what I fill in the blank is exactly word for word what you find on the Google Business Profile. So find out more about our landscape installations here. That text is linked. Find out more about our tree removal services, our retaining walls, our sod installation, our yard drainage. Each of these I just throw in a background picture. It could be from your photos or you can find them off of Google. And then from there you can completely fill out this entire page. And you can see that we have a lot of pages. When you do every single page, you should end up with around 300 to 600 words on the page, which is pretty good for one of these sub pages. And then from there, your customer can now click on the link, and then it will take them further into the page. So I'm going to navigate to that page now. Our landscape installation, make sure it matches exactly. And now we are in our landscape installation page. So we went from our home page to our category page to our services page. So right now we are on that services page, and from here you can edit the photos that you want. Let's say you wanted some slide photos that kind of shows off everything that you do. You want to name a few, you want to name your business name, you want to name the city again in that H1, so service in city is going to be your H1 tag, and then from there you just want to populate this with anywhere from 200 to 600 words depending on how prominent the service is. But even this, you can see that this isn't a ton of content here, and this still doubled its ranking position in only 2 weeks. You also want to make sure that you link one back up, so that way this one links back to our landscaper services page, and your landscaper service, your category page, will also link up to your home page. So now that we've had a chance to look at the website, I want to go ahead and explain this one more time because maybe it makes a little bit more sense that we've got to see it visually. Your home page, we're going to link our text to point to our categories, our primary category and then our secondary categories. From our secondary category pages, we want to design them in such a way that they point to each of our services as found on Google, and only those services that are found on Google. When I say point to, what I'm doing is we are interlinking our website so that way it becomes one big spider web. So like we said earlier where we highlighted the text and we linked it somewhere, you want to link that text to either one below or one above in your website. So the landscaper page is going to link one below. It's going to point to this and to this, 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 and it's only ever pointing one level deeper or one level higher. So your mulch insulation is going to point only to your landscaper page, and your landscaper is going to point only to your home page. The home page is not going to point deeper into each one of these service pages. Your home page only wants to point to your primary categories. Now, like I said earlier, if you have some big money services, let's say that landscape lighting is really big for you and it's kind of what you're most known for, then it is okay to have one or two of those links that go from your home page directly to the service page. But for the most part, you want to keep it structured just like this, where they talk down and then this one talks back up, and there's no sort of spider web chaotic mess, because then it's hard for the Google robots to find you. Okay, so there's one more thing that we have to cover before we can move on to using AI to generate this content that helps us. And what that's going to be is that is going to be canonical links, your meta description, and your meta tags. So I promise it's not as complicated as it sounds. If you're on Go High Level, you can come over here to SEO metadata, and you have a content tab right here. So you're going to click that, and you have a title and a description. The title and the description are the exact blue words and the gray words that you see on the top of Google. So if we go back to our landscaping in Montana pages, these down here, this is your title, and then this is your description. So you want to keep your title around 60 to 70 characters, so that way you maximize the space, the real estate that you're taking, but you're not going too far like this one where it says ... You don't want to get that ... because you want your customers to read everything. And then you also want to make this one to be about 150 characters in length. And luckily for us in Go High Level, it tells us exactly what that is. So I'm going to go ahead and let's say that our company's name is ABC Landscaper, and that's my business name. And I'm going to say landscaping services in Austin. And then it gives you a little preview of how it's going to show up. So now I'm going to go to the description, and you want a keyword-rich description. All right, so I'm going to say ABC Landscaper, landscaping services in Austin, Texas. So we have landscaper, we have landscaping services, and then we have our location. In our meta description, we have ABC Landscaper has been landscaping in Austin. So we have keyword, location for over 20 years. Turn your home into a beautiful resort today, and we're talking to the customer here about their ideal outcome that they have. So you want to go ahead and save these, and then you can come over here to your canonical link. And your canonical link is the official link that actually points to this page. So we're going to say https://landscaper.com. This is our canonical link. Usually it ends with a slash or a /home. It just depends on what your website is. And then from there you can click add, and it will save and update that. From there you click update SEO metadata, and you could save and then publish your website. If at any point you just wanted to preview, you can click the preview button. It will save it automatically, and then we'll bring it up into a window to show you what your site looks like. And you can see that all of those texts in curly braces have actually populated. So this sub account that I'm in right now, the business name is just named example, and the city name is also named example. And you can see that we are populating with those curly braces, and this is what our site looks like. All right, so we've covered all of our tags and how we need to structure our website and interlink it. We've also covered the SEO metadata that we need to have. There's one last thing if you really want to take this and like crank it up to 11. Get registered in your local of commerce registry in your local city. What that does is it is a really powerful trust signal for Google that tells Google that your website is legit. So if we got registered, if our business was in Austin and we got registered for the city of Austin's Chamber of Commerce, that website is now pointing to our homepage, and that link, that pointing, comes with it a lot of authority. And then from there, you can register for the other local towns, or you can get some other businesses, let's say a nursery, to write a blog about you and to link to your website. So you want to try to get a few links for your homepage and then a few links for each of your primary categories. And then after that, you could focus on those money-making categories like I mentioned. but that's kind of like the secondary strategy. We did this strategy alone for this website, and he still doubled positions in only 2 weeks. All right, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to use AI to help us fill out our landscaping website content, but instead of having the generic outputs that usually ChatGPT gives you, we're going to turn it up a notch. This is a prompt that I have. It is in the link in the description. You can download it for free, no email, no nothing like that. It's just a Google Docs page. You can get this prompt and a lot of information that I talk about for free. And what you could do is you could take this prompt and you're gonna copy it and you're gonna paste it into ChatGPT. And what this is gonna do is it's basically saying, hey, I need you to do this super granular writing professor style dissection of my writing so that way you can emulate it just like me. And you can see, got it, paste the writing sample, and I'll wait until you're done before I analyze. So what this is gonna do is I'm going to give it a writing sample and it's going to break it down and analyze my tone of voice. All right, so I've given it some writing samples, and what this is gonna do, it's gonna analyze it and it is going to spit it back out to me exactly. So you can see here we have this breakdown. It gives us the voice and tone, it gives us the structure and flow, the sentence level style, the diction and the word choice, the rhetorical, everything that we asked it for. So what we're gonna do is we're going to come up here and we're going to copy paste this into a document once it's finished, and we're going to generate a text file. So I'm not going to do this live because I've already done this for me before, but basically after you paste in your best performing emails or your best performing Facebook posts, or even just find some words that you like, so a writing style that you like, and you give it to that ChatGPT, you can come and paste it into a Google Doc. This is the Google Doc, the prompts that I'm sharing with you, but basically it works the same as you paste that doc, you click file, then you click download, and you download it as a plain text file. And we're gonna use that in just a little. All right, so now that I have my writing file, my writing tone of voice text, I'm gonna put it in here and I'm going to basically have a conversation with my ChatGPT. So if you were curious, if you're on Windows, you can hit Windows H, and that allows you to speak to your keyboard so that way you can save time on typing. So I'm gonna go ahead and backspace this. Hi, I want you to write for me a website page. I want you to keep the primary category of the website page as landscaper service, and I want the secondary category to be contractor and concrete contractor, period. We are going to start with the home page, and the home page, the H1 tag should be landscaper in Austin, and the head titles should be each primary category and the secondary categories as well. So H1 is landscaper in Austin, and all of the H2s are going to be landscaper in Austin, comma, contractor in Austin, comma, and concrete contractor in Austin, period. From there, you can continue generating the rest of the content in a way that fits best practices. Make it in my tone of voice as found in the file, comma, reference a handful of landmarks in Austin, Texas. And if you need any clarification about my business, you can either assume the details and put them in bold so that way I can edit them later, or you can generate all of the content and then ask me for clarification, period. Go ahead and generate the home page for me. And even though that's not a really good prompt, because if you checked out my other videos, I talk about how to have a good prompt. That's not even a good prompt, and it's still gonna give us a pretty decent information. So we're gonna say landscaper in Austin. This would be our H1 tag. You know what's funny about Austin? Everyone wants their property looking great, but nobody wants to deal with flaky crews. This looks kind of interesting. All right, so I would probably cut this piece out because that's a little bit edgy. The AI is being a little bit edgy here, but we could say we're local operator landscape. And the reason it's doing this is because I usually use my writing tone of voice for social media type stuff. But yeah, so you might have to tweak your prompt a little bit here, but this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. And then this looks pretty good. So I would probably copy and paste this, maybe change it a little bit and put that underneath my H1 tag. Here's our H2 tag. It's not just about plants and mulch, it's about stewardship. Okay, AI, that's a little dramatic, but that's okay. When we take on a landscaping project, we're thinking long-term. Okay, so this looks pretty good. It's mentioning Texas, it's mentioning Austin, it's talking about some of the services. So this is a pretty good baseline. And again, it's not gonna do You can't copy paste this one for one, but it does give you a pretty good place to start in order to generate all of that content, so you're not having to write essays and essays for your website. Finally, what we want to do is we want to audit to make sure that our website looks good. So we're going to come over here to screamingfrog.co.uk, and then this is a free tool that we're going to be able to use in order to do some research on our website. So once you click into it, I'm going to go ahead and pick on this company from Montana again that we were looking at earlier. And then once we plug in the information up here at the top and we click start, it will give you an entire report. Now I'm back in the AI Landscaper playbook. This has some of our prompts that we're going to use. This is a prompt that you can use, again, for free, link in the description. You don't even have to give me your email, although if you want, you can. But this is a prompt that we're going to use in order to analyze our website entirely. So we need to get the links_all and the internal_all files from our Screaming Frog report. And also what we need to do is we need to fill out these bracketed items. So our Google Business Profile categories, the secondary categories, the services, and then the town. So we fill it in just like this. We put in our primary, we put in our secondary, and then for the services, we put in the category and then all of the services that follow it. I just put some random stuff, but you want this to match exactly like your Google Business Profile, and then you say city name, and then you put in the city name. And then from there, you can copy paste this, plug this into ChatGPT, and then we're gonna download the files. All right, so I'm in ChatGPT and I have my categories plugged in, my landscaper, my concrete contractor, and then a handful of services. And then now what I need to do is I need to grab links_all and internal_all from our Screaming Frog. So you come over here to this main window. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it just because of how I have my screen recording, but you can see right here, pretty much above where my mouse is, there's a bunch of tabs up here. So this is internal. We're going to come over here and click export, and then right here we can download. And then the next one that we want to do is, again, in these tabs right here, kind of straight up, there's links. And then we want to click export again, and then we download this file. Once we have both of those files, we're going to come back to ChatGPT, we're going to hit this plus icon, add photos and files, and we're going to add both of them. So I added both of my files, and this audit is going to tear me to shreds because I'm using a different website and I'm using a different city name than the website I grabbed and everything, but it's okay because it's just for the example. So this is going to read through all of these files. It's going to kind of have a comprehensive overview of the technical side of our website, and then it's going to match to see these tags that we were talking about. So check to see these tags that we were talking about mentions each of the secondary categories, has an internal link to the secondary category page. For each service, there's a dedicated URL. So it's going to kind of give us a comprehensive. So let's see what it says. This site is structurally not aligned at all with the intended Google Business Profile Austin silo that you outlined. Most issues are foundational, not edge cases. So this is telling us that this website is jacked. But you can see that I grabbed a random website from Montana and I was using Austin, Texas. So that's okay. But the point here is that it gives you a super detailed, comprehensive outline. And from there, you can even upload your text file and just continue to generate the proper content in this thread, so that way ChatGPT has context on your business, on your website, and exactly what you're trying. So that was a complete master look into the SEO for landscape businesses. So you don't have to pay somebody $4,000. You could build the foundation yourself. If you do need help with it, I don't charge $4,000, but you can book a call with me in the link in the description, and I would love to talk to you about your website. Even if you don't pay me, we could chat about it and I can maybe give you some pointers, and then from there we could see if it makes sense to work together. But I hope this works. I hope you make tons and tons of money. God bless. Keep doing awesome landscaping.